Hey, everybody. I thought I would do something I have not done in forever, which is just randomly jump onto a live stream because I feel like it. You know what? I need to actually let some moderators know that I did this. I was just on Tori Magoo 44's channel. Hey, Mama. Oh, I was just about to text you and say, I'm going to randomly do a live stream. Mama Opal, you are so on top of it. I can't even stand it. That's amazing. I have not done this in like a while, just randomly pop on. And I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it. Hey, everybody. Welcome. I didn't even do my intro. I'm Natalie. This is Scientology Life After a Cult. And we're doing a random live stream. Hey, Karen and K-Rad, Nikki's here. Jess, good to see you. Just saw you over on Tori's live stream. That was so much fun. Jen Sell, thank you for being here and your help. Hey, Tamber June, Nolo, Valerie, Lauren, Cricket Cinema, so good to see you. Twice in one day. Did I see you this morning, Cricket Cinema? I can't remember if you were in the chat there. Lisa, look at that. That's the other thing. I don't normally go live this time of day. And I thought, you know what? I'm already sitting at my computer. I just got done with Tori. Why don't I just jump on and see who we can run into here? And we run into Love Maddie and Cinderella. Joe, good to see you. Wasn't that a great chat with Tori? Her stories are amazing. If you guys missed it, you got to go to Tori Magoo 44's channel and you can catch it on the replay. Hey, Arkansas Flamingo. Yeah, Tori is amazing. She really is. Tanya, hey. Tamber, yes, love you and Tori. Can't wait to watch that. Yeah, I just love chatting with her. Boy, she dropped some fun stories. Hey, Bella Notes. Aloha, Mama Bluebird. Thank you for being here. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Good to see you. JB808. That you love the collaborations with the OGs. Me too. I feel so fortunate. I was able to, was it yesterday? Time is just like I have no sense of it these days. But I think it was yesterday I talked to Mark Bunker, and then to be able to round that out with a conversation with the one and only Tori, I was like, that's amazing. I was geeking out. JB808, you don't have to tell me, of course, because we're on a live stream, but are you in Hawaii, from Hawaii? Have we talked about this? If we have, excuse my lapse of memory here. But when I see you, I, of course, always think about that. Hey, Laura, you just got back from a field trip with the kids. I'm glad you're here. Linda Lou, I'm glad you were on the Tory one too. That was fun. Hey, Candace, AKA also known as Mark Barker, you just got home. Jersey Jan, good to see you. Yeah, Jess LaBarber, it was really great. Evie, hey, Becky, good to see you. Random videos are the best. I know. It's so, I, of course, I'm a Virgo, so have a topic or be prepared. And part of what I'm working on, I'm getting a head start on my New Year's resolution, is to just do things because I feel like it and for no other reason, and just go with it. Cascade, hello, I'm well. Me and Taz, good to see you. I think it's fun too. Oh, thank you, Timber June. That's so kind of you. Galen, hello. Hey, Winston. Oh, good to see Winston again, too. Winston, thank you so much for gifting 10 Scientology Life After a Cult memberships. I appreciate that. It was great to see you in Tori's chat. Joe, I'm glad. That's why I thought I would kind of try this and see and just jump on. Angie Mo, good to see you. Sieglin, hello. Mama Bluebird's here too. Fuzzy Pink Handcuffs, I'm glad you made it. And love Maddie. Judy, good to see you. Oh my gosh, you guys, Tori just told the funniest stories. Well, funny, disturbing, so much of it. Every time I talk to her, I learn new things about her. Hey, Scooter Mom. And I love it. I love learning those things. Kelly Copter, I need to go on the replay and watch your video. Kelly Copter just did a video, you guys. If you didn't catch it, you got to go check it out. And I sent you a message to Kelly. I can't remember what I asked now, but I'm sure it was some technology thing. In the way that Tori will call me or come to me with help with her technology, I go to Kelly Copter. And I'm like, hey, how do you do this particular thing? Joe, you just subscribed to Xenu TV and you've been crying. Yeah, he's got amazing content. That's Mark Bunker's channel. Absolutely. Yeah, no worries. Yes, we talked about it. I'm in Honolulu, Makiki. Oh, okay. Okay. It's coming back. We need to keep talking about it. Did I ever ask you how did you and again, you know, you don't have to say if it's because I what I don't recall if you're a former Scientologist or never in. I love talking to people in Hawaii. The accent, though, will come back, my pidgin English accent. Deanna Ross, aloha, love the spontaneous stream, I'm glad. Hey, Boxer Heather. Look at that, Kitty's here too. Farrell, Cheryl, I get to see you too. 2 live streams. Joe, yes, I love how she, Tori, tells a story and then the cursing that she's trying to curb. That's so funny. Kelly, I love your cookie video. Thank you. Thank you. I want to do another one. So if you guys didn't catch my cookie video, you got to go under videos on my channel. And I did a pre-recorded video. I'm trying those out and made some cookies and it was a horrible disaster. But you know what? It worked out too. Wendy, look at you. Aloha kuuipo. How's it? You must be calling. Listen to me. Joining from Hawaii. I love that. I love you too, Kelly. And thank you. Thank you for checking your messages. I don't even remember what I asked you. I can hear Tori repeat the same stories all day. I hope she realizes that there's always someone hearing it for the first time. I agree. In fact, one of the things I've been working on, you guys, is going through some other videos and content that's older that I think, why is this not working? I think just like some stories, some survivor stories where people who are new to my channel or new to our community may not know, and I wanted to do some reaction videos to them. What is going on here? I wonder if my mouse battery died. What's happening? My mouse is not working for some bizarre reason. So we might have JB808's comment up on here all night. We shall see. Oh, Wendy, you went to school in Makiki. Nice. For the short time that I did go to high school, I went to Aiea High School. Tiggy, mahalo for becoming a member. Thank you so much. I'd be pulling it up, but for okay, how weird was that? Maybe it'll work now. A little glitch. There we go. There we go. Becky says, we need a Natalie Tries series. I related to the baking video so much. I loved it. I'm so glad. Yeah, there's so many things I want to try. And, you know, I've got this gate I need to put up on my stairs that I've been procrastinating on for like a month. Hey, Grace, K-Rad. No, I'm back. I'm back. Elizabeth, I'm so glad. Most entertainment cooking segment I've seen. Yeah, you know, maybe I'll do a little bit more cooking, but I'm thinking of some other things to try as well and share with you guys. Yadira, thank you so much for being here and reminding everybody to go hit that like button and check your subscribe too. Claudia, we're just kind of chatting. I thought I'd do a random stream because I haven't done that in a while. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity to connect with some people that, because I'm on in the mornings, I'd live stream doing a recap of Scientology and culty news Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central, sometimes Saturday, but I usually create some other kind of other content on the weekend. Ooh, K-Rad. Yeah, we could make spam. I could do that. I can make spam. Love Natalie, their cookie recipes with 4 ingredients or less that come out great. Yeah, and the cookies actually did turn out great. It's just right out of the oven because they were gluten-free, low sugar cookies. You had to let them cool, and I didn't follow the directions. But when they cooled, they were actually delicious. Thanksgiving cooking with Natalie and Farrell Cheryl. Oh, I love that. I wonder, Farrell Cheryl, can you cook? Are you a whiz in the kitchen? Joe, my dogs hate your little Davy. They go crazy every time you bring him out. Really? Are your dogs around now? Where is he? Sometimes I forget to pick them up from the floor, but here it's for Joe's dogs. Woo! Woof, 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 woof. Oh, and my little body Thetans there. That's funny. Oh, Granny G. Yeah, you got to watch it. If you go to my channel and you go to videos, not live, but videos, it's right there because it was a pre-recorded video. Ooh, yeah, we could make spam musubi. Tony always made it so much better than me. He really surpassed. He was so good at it. Oh, good. Yes, I'm a good cook-ish. Okay. Well, good. When you're here, at least one of us will be able to feed us. Ooh, kitty candy slays. I don't know what that is, but I am here for it. Yeah, Claudia. Surprise! Wendy, so you went to Washington Intermediate, Makiki. Good to be a kid again. Oh, hui ho! Yes. Oh my, I went to so many different schools in Hawaii growing up. We moved around so much. Joe, they're barking at the TV. I'm sorry. That's so funny. I don't even know how many. I probably went to 6 or 7 different schools in Hawaii growing up. I know I went to August Arns, Waipahu Intermediate. I went, oh my God, see the accents coming out. Speak proper English. I went to Pearl City, and then of course IAEA and a bunch of ones in between there. Yeah, crazy. Oh, Anna, you taught elementary school at Palolo. Wow, we got all kinds of Hawaii connections here. Kitty, I'm glad you're a good baker. Sometimes I feel like, oh, if I'm a good baker though, then am I gonna just end up eating, like all of the stuff I bake? I was gonna tell you guys, some of you know, if you join our members only live streams on Tuesday, I talked about this, I think last week. I had an issue with mice. Oh, I shudder just to even think about it. So I basically found evidence of a mouse and I freaked out because I am terrified, like next level terrified. I know nobody really likes mice, but I mean, it freaks me out. And what I believe was happening was Tony was always doing things because here in Minnesota in the Midwest, we live up against a marsh. As soon as gets cold, little creatures are going to want to come in. But we've never had that happen before, or at least I didn't think we did. I think we did, but Tony was handling it and not telling me about it because he knew how terrified I was of the mice. But I am proud to report, you guys, I'm actually feeling very good about this, which is hilarious because when it happened, I was messed up for days because it upset me that there was evidence of a mouse, and then it upset me that Tony wasn't here to handle it. I was just freaking out. So I immediately ordered some stuff on Amazon and Instacart, and I put up at that time just some sticky traps and some bait stations. I didn't even know how they worked. I didn't even know what a bait station was. It didn't explain it clearly on the box. And then I just started tearing everything apart and cleaning obsessively because I felt like everything was dirty. My kitchen has never been so clean. I just started pulling stuff out and cleaning it. I was so grossed out. And I did not catch a mouse. And then there was still evidence the next day. And I thought, okay, I got to bring in the big guns. So I went to a hardware store that Tony used to go to. Bob, I'm allergic to cats. I'm so allergic to cats. I go to the hardware store, and I'd never been to this hardware store before, but I know it's the one that Tony went to. And I tell them my situation, but by then I'm so triggered about it that I'm over the top. And as I replay that day in my head at the hardware store, I'm horrifically embarrassed because when I'm talking to this guy who is probably like in his mid to late 20s maybe, and I'm saying, yeah, I need my stuff, but I'm like, I need serious my stuff. Like I want to know that they're going to be dead. Because at first he's like, oh, we have these traps and you can, what did he call it? Rehome. I'm like, they don't live in my house. I'm not trying to find them another home. I want them dead. There's no shortage of mice. I mean, I really was over the top about it because I was so triggered and so grossed out about it. And I'm like, you got to help me. You got to, like, what do I do? And he's showing me the different traps and even showing me how to use them and explained to me how the bait station worked. I didn't know that they would eat the poison, and they're not even clear about that on the box of the bait station. I feel like it sounds they try to make it sound like you're not killing the mouse, like that somehow is offensive. I don't know. I wanted to find a trap that said guaranteed death as painful as possible, and there was nothing like that. But I did talk to the guy. I'm like, "Why wouldn't you put that on the packaging? Like, this will like, the mice will drop dead if they eat this." I just feel like it could be a little bit clearer, you know what I'm saying? It just almost felt like they were trying to make having mice and killing them like, it's nothing. It's just, these are guests in your home that you're gonna just rehome. I'm like, "No, they're not guests. They don't live here, and I need to know that they will suffer and die a painful death." Now, once I calmed down and was not in that state of mind anymore, I still wanted the mice gone, but I didn't feel like it needed to be, super painful. Over Newbin, welcome. I know, right? I'm sharing my mice story. I'm so grossed out still. But I'm proud of myself because this destroyed me for like 24, 48 hours. I was obsessively cleaning and crying. And because again, it wasn't just about the mice. I realized I called a friend of mine, and as we spoke, I realized it was really more about Tony being gone and not here to protect me from these mice, as he had done for the 11 years that we were together. I was never aware of a problem with mice. I know in Minnesota, you just have it, especially where we live up against a marsh. I can't get a cat, Cinderella. I am super allergic, super allergic. Jamie Castro, does it have to be a painful death? I wanted it to be, and I'm admitting that right here. I did. I was in such a state of mind that honestly, I think I would have shot him if I could. I mean, I wouldn't have known how, but I think that was just my way of coping and working through, like, the grief of Tony not being here to protect me from the mice and my fear. I mean, for the first time in my life, I handled the mouse traps. I couldn't even do that before. I couldn't even go to the store and buy the traps because I couldn't touch the box. That is the level of my phobia around this. So, the fact that I did do that and, like, I, took care of it, I am super proud about myself. Now, I'm not proud that I went into the hardware store and demanded the most deadly possible, painful way possible to kill mice. I am not proud of that moment, and in hindsight, as I replay it in my head and I see the expression of the young man on his face, I'm realizing I think I scared him. And even then, I knew I was being extra and sounding like a lunatic, right? Just like, "Well, what about this trap? How does it work? And why can't there be metal spikes instead of plastic? So when it comes down on them," I mean, I was like a little manic about it, and it was embarrassing. So I ended up realizing, like, I'm so over the top about this. This guy's going to think I'm completely crazy. And so then I told him what was happening. And I said, "Look, I need to tell you something so you can understand my psychosis. And I'm going to cry when I have to say this. So you're just going to have to deal." And then I told him that, my partner died and he always took care of this. And now I'm having to do it. And rah, rah, rah. So not only was I already embarrassed because I'm like demanding that you give me the most deadly mice poison on the planet and guaranteed ways to cause them painful deaths. But now I'm crying in the hardware store, in the aisle of the mice traps and everything else. And you know what? Yeah, that's right, fuzzy pink handcuffs. I am on several government lists right now. I know. It just goes to show when you're triggered in a way that, well, I guess is triggering that you're not in your normal homeostasis or right, state of mind. And I wasn't. And it became all about killing these mice for me. And so I end up getting 2 different kinds of traps. I bought way too many. These black ones that are, I think they're called jaws, and they're reusable, and the traditional wood ones. And the guy showed me how to do the traditional wood ones, but when I got home, I couldn't do it. I couldn't figure it out. And I just didn't. I was like, I can't learn one more thing today. And so I just set the ones that were easy. Hey, Kim is blue. You burst out crying in front of the plumber once or twice. You totally get it then. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Afila, amazing you told your story to the hardware person, that's great. I felt like I had to, so I looked like less of a lunatic. Because when I say I was over the top, and you guys, I mean, I wanna say, like, you guys know me, and you do. I'm generally pretty chill, I am, but I was just in a state of mind, and all I could focus on is, a painful death for these mice. And so I go home, I've got my traps, I've got my bait stations, I understand more how they work. Oh, and I even got steel wool, or is it wool steel? Steel wool, and this foam stuff you spray. Because what the guy told me is that there's, like, holes where they get in, and I'm thinking, like, I don't know, what do they eat a hole? And there's, like, I'm thinking Tom and Jerry, like a hole in the wall, Tom and Jerry style. I'm really dating myself now with Tom and Jerry. And so that's what I was thinking. And the guy's explaining to me about if you put this steel wool in the holes and you use this spray, then they can no longer come and go as they please. So, yeah, I went on a rampage with the steel wool and I found where, like, pipes were coming in and things in, yeah, D Marie, I thought there'd be like a little door. That's what I was picturing in my mind. No, the mice aren't even considerate enough to have a little identifiable door. Not at all. So I get my flashlight, I get home with all this stuff, and my daughter, who, if you guys don't know, my daughter moved in with me after Tony died, and thank goodness, because it's been fantastic having her here and also my grandson, Oliver. I get to see Oliver more. And I'm like, "Okay, you gotta help me do this," because she was helping me doing the cleaning and stuff like that. And so we put the steel wool into some of the holes around pipes and then use this foam thing. And I'm sure it didn't look pretty, but, these were in, like, the back of cabinets and stuff, so I think it's actually gonna be fine. Um, Set more traps. I put traps in the garage because I saw evidence there. And the next day, no evidence of mice, but I didn't catch a mouse either. And I thought, "Okay, what does this mean?" Right? I wasn't sure what that meant, and I was too embarrassed to go back to the hardware store and ask the guy. So, I figure, okay, maybe because I sealed the holes. Like, I felt so badass, you guys, because I was taking care of this on my own, and I could just feel Tony laughing hysterically at me, but also cheering me on because this was a big deal for me. 1, it was a major anxiety. 2, it was, doing something for the first time that I've never had to deal with before because it's the kind of thing that Tony always took care of. They're scared of you, the mice or the guy at the hardware store? Because I think both. I think both. Tamara, you're right. I think the hardware people do totally get it. The poor guy called in sick. Yeah. Oh, Kim is blue. Well, where were you the other day? That's a great idea. I should have gone to a different hardware store. I didn't even think about that. So the next day, the second day, there's still no sign. So I'm like, okay, good. So I just keep obsessively cleaning still. Then we catch one in the garage. And thankfully, my daughter dealt with the trap, got rid of the mouse and then reset the trap. So there's been no sign of any mice in the house, but I killed 3 of the bastards in the garage and I'm not stopping. And I now need to learn about bait stations because at one point, so I actually did schedule they don't call themselves exterminators, or at least this company doesn't, pest control. Pest control. And they talked about putting bait stations outside to like where it looks like the mice are coming in. And I'm going to do that for myself. That's gonna be my next thing. That is. It is. Hey, pause for Andrea. Yeah, I was so excited. So now it's like I'm sleeping normally again. It just grosses me out so much. That's right, Bella Notes. I feel like a boss. I really do. Like, I couldn't believe I did it. I mean, I'm like $200 into my stuff. I was like, I even the guy was like, "I don't know that you're gonna need that many traps." I mean, "Are you talking about one area of your house or everywhere?" I'm like, "No, no, one specific area." But you know what I did that I've also never done is I pulled out the refrigerator and I pulled out the stove. I forget that you can even do that in my head because 'cause I've never done that. I think they're just permanently there. Even though logically I can look and go, "Okay, well, somebody had to put it there in the first place." But I think it was the hardware store guy who said, "You're gonna have to pull those out," and I'm glad I did because what did I see? Evidence of mice. So I cleaned it, I scrubbed it, I put traps back there, I put bait traps back there, and so far so good. Liz Gale! Hi, Nat. Mice always happen in country homes. Now you're set and can handle them. I still feel very traumatized, though. I mean, my history with mice and that's right, Liz, because you live out in the country, and, I mean, my family thinks I live in the country. I'm like, "I live on the edge of the suburbs." It's still the suburbs, but, there are horses and stuff out here, and it does feel like the country, especially with these mice, but it's just a thing. I know it's just a fact of life, and they're gonna show up, and now I just feel like I can handle it. So, there's one thing I'm worried about now that I feel like I've mastered the mice. In the spring, where we live, for some reason so this will be my 3rd year living in this house, so I've only had 2 full seasons in the house, and what we discovered is that snakes you heard that right, snakes. I think they're called garden snakes or garter snakes, like the regular run-of-the-mill. It's not like it's, big snakes or anacondas or something like that. The snakes always have I don't know, what do you call it? Giving birth, hatching eggs? I don't even know what you call it. Or I don't know if snakes mating, giving birth, whatever they do, they always go back to the same place for it, generation after generation. For some reason, that place is my front yard, in the front of my house. And we discovered this when we were living here the first spring. All these snakes started showing up. I'm talking on my steps and walkway, like my sisters once, I could hear them screaming when they came to visit because of the snakes. And what happened with the snakes that first year, Tony had already been diagnosed. He was going through his first year of cancer treatment, and he had massive fatigue. He was really struggling with the fatigue and the treatment that he was doing. And then this thing happens with the snakes. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what do we do? Do we call somebody? What's the deal?" And at that point, I wasn't working from home full time. I was still going to my office, and I was mostly working there. During the day, Tony started killing the snakes and throwing their bodies into a bucket. Yeah, Liz, that's right. At least they're garter snakes. They're at least worrisome. The least worrisome. I wanna see the snake yard on your spring content lineup. Okay, I'm freaking out. Thankfully, spring is a little ways away, and I feel like we have time to, you know, I can work through the anxiety about it and maybe even find a solution for it. So Tony starts killing all these snakes. He's out there with a shovel, like, "Arr, arr," just throwing them into the bucket. Now, we could have called an exterminator or pest control, whatever. And actually, at one point, I did and canceled because this became a mission for Tony. He really got into it. And again, he was going through cancer treatment and he had such fatigue, but it became almost like a purpose, like he had this purpose. and a way for him to just work out some, he didn't have any energy, but somehow it helped him. It gave him energy. It energized him to kill these snakes. And I think it was that whole, Dawn gloves. He put them in a bucket. They were trophies. He wanted to show me. It was disgusting. I know, Laura, don't kill the snakes, they eat the mice. This is probably my karma, having the mice come in the house for being down with Tony killing all the snakes. But in our defense, but Lisa, we're not talking a couple snakes. He killed over 100 of them. They were constantly showing up. We were being infested. Downstairs, he told me only 2, and he could have been lying to me, but 2 in the house downstairs that he had to get rid of. He said they were never upstairs, but Tony used to tell me things that I wanted to hear, and I loved him for that. But I don't really know what the reality is of that. So he's killing all the fuzzy pink handcuffs. You're right. That would explain all the swords. Maybe that's why he had all the knives. For those of you that don't know, after Tony died, I found weapons all over the house, all kinds of knives and swords and stuff. It was crazy. Susanna, the traps that I got are actually reusable, which is nice because they're super powerful. Yeah, snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? Name that movie and character. Snakes on a plane? Snakes on a plane. I'm behind in the chat, so other people might have guessed. Granny, I'll come get the snakes and relocate them. Well, they live in the marsh. So it's only a short period of time that they come and do this. But because Tony was so energized by this, I'll let him do it. Hey, Rain Virus, welcome. Howdy and aloha to you as well. Is your hubby here too? So I thought, I'm going to let him do it because he seemed to really find purpose in killing these snakes. And it became a whole thing of each day, how many he would kill and where he would kill them. And yeah, Afila, there's no shortage of these snakes. I talked to the neighbors and I'm like, hey, do you guys have the snake problem? And they're like, no, but we've heard what it's like at your house. So people previously who lived here knew. And then when I looked around the house, I could see where they had done some kind of pest control. Hey, SPTV fans, good to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. There are things around the house where I can tell they were put up to block the snakes from coming in. I can't get a cat. I'm super allergic. So the whole spring goes by and, Tony has killed all of these snakes and the situation was under control because they only do this for a certain amount of time. It's just certain weeks. I don't even remember for how long. It felt like forever. Joe Virus is napping next to you. That's so cute. Yeah, Granny G, I can just picture Tony slaying snakes with a sword. Yeah. Best part of his chemo. I think he was doing hormone therapy at that point, which is why he was so tired. So it was really neat to see him. Hey, Tony Hoban. It was really neat to see him energized and feel like it was something he could do. It was accomplishing something. It was really hard on Tony to not be able to work for as long as he wasn't able to work. He had always worked since he was a teenager. It was really hard on him, but it's what he needed to do. And it was really hard for him to see me go work and working multiple jobs. But we were a team. And, he would take care of things around the house and slaughter snakes. And so the next year, spring comes around again. And I'm like, okay, what are the chances? Is this an annual thing? I was told that it was, that these snakes would show up again. And they did. Brain Virus says, Joe Virus's parents' house backed up to a creek and his mom was constantly cutting the heads off snakes. What did she use? Maybe the snakes will eat the mice. I think he might have killed too many of the snakes, and that's why the mice are here now. The second year, same thing. And by this point, he was still on treatment. And same thing. He just started killing the snakes again, but there were less of them. And I told him, because a friend of mine who works in pest control said that it's in their DNA, that they just know where to go generation after generation. And I thought, okay, well, how do we change that? So I had a theory. I told Tony, don't kill all of them, maim a few, right? Maim them. They go back. Do they maybe tell the others, don't go there? I maimed. I got hit in the head with a shovel. I'm not even dead. I had a theory about this. Now, he told me he maimed some, but again, Tony used to tell me lots of things to protect me. So I don't know if he did. There is an owl, I think, back there. I've heard an owl. I can imagine the smell of the snakes. Oh, you know what? For some reason, I guess because I never got close enough to the bucket to take a sniff, but he did it. Hey, Sassy Savage. Yeah, late night feels late night to me. For me, it's like 5:38 and I'm here online. Yeah, it was crazy. The second year, he ended up killing a whole bunch more of the snakes, but it seems like there were less. So I kind of feel like, I don't know, maybe the maiming worked. So we'll see. So come March, April is like usually when they show up, and I need a plan in place by then. I don't know that I could actually kill snakes. Like, ugh, I don't know, but if I got pissed off enough, I could. So you might just see me out there one day. JB808, did you know Sakura and Myron Thompson when you were in Hawaii? Oh, yeah, since I was a kid. I don't know them, but they're apparently longtime Scientologists in Hawaii. Yeah, they are. They are. They were the whole time that I was there and beyond. I always knew them to be nice people. I always really liked them. I always thought they were nice. Hopefully they stayed that way. Sometimes the longer you stay in Scientology, it's like not so much, but Kim is blue. You might have to get a snake guy to handle this mess. Yeah, I might. I might. I really might. Or I don't know. Try and handle it myself. I mean, I kind of feel like, you know what? I handled the mouse thing. I'm serious. If you get them next spring, let me know. I will come and get them and bring them to my daughter's house. She lives in the country. We love snakes. Granny G, do you live in Minnesota? I forgot. You'd have to come a lot, day after day. These things come up from the marsh in the dead of night, or at least in my fan fiction over what's happening. That's how I imagine it, that while I'm sleeping, there's a little like hill on the side of my house, and that these snakes plot and plan to come up and mess with me. So we'll see. Just a northern girl, your son owns a 6-foot hog island boa. Ooh. Oh, see, spiders I can do every day, all day. Spiders don't freak me out. I will kill a spider. Last night, I'm minding my own business, sitting in the recliner, which is my favorite spot, and I hear this loud bang, bang, bang. The house is shaking. I'm like, what is going on? I start yelling for my daughter because I don't want to get out of the recliner. Because if you've ever been in a recliner, it's, you got to put it down. It's like in slow motion. By the time you get up, whatever happened is already over. She was killing a spider in the door. I'm like, don't use the sliding glass door to kill a spider. You're going to break the door, and you were slamming it hard. She's like, it wasn't that hard. I'm like, you were shaking the house. Hey, literally no one. Welcome. Crows, I don't have a problem with. I've not really seen crows. Yeah, I'm going to be preparing myself. I'm going to have to go find some of those weapons. Snakes kill rats. Yeah, I'm not going to kill all of them. I'm just saying, like, they shouldn't be on the walkway. I'm not talking about one random snake, okay? I'm talking about many. Like I said, Tony killed 100 the first spring. And he didn't go hunting he didn't go into their area. He didn't go into the marsh. And I told him, look, snakes, they have a role. I just want you to go after the ones that think they can come near my house or in the house. So if they're doing snake things in the back or even out in the yard, fine. But if they're on the walkway trying to come up to the door, I want every single one of them dead or maimed to send a message. Jen Sell, you're right. We should just not be talking about this. Snake dreams, mice dreams. Good juju. They are harmless and more afraid of you, dear. Logically, I know that, but in the moment when I'm triggered like that, it's like, no, no. Yeah, we can move on from killing things. I'm over it. That was my trauma. Oh, D, that's a great idea. I'm going to go back to the hardware store. Oh, Cinderella, try some hot pepper flakes in that area. You think they are this won't hurt them, but they may get them to go somewhere else. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Before then, I will do some research on a more humane way to discourage them from coming over here. I don't care if they're in the yard. I don't go in the yard. I stay out of the yard if I can help it. But the walkway, like near the front door, is where I have a problem. If they would just stay over there, I'm like, okay, we can live and let live. Me and Taz, maybe you can pay Tony's sons to take care of the snakes. They would too. But Tony's oldest is in college, out of state, out of the country, actually. And he doesn't get back. By the time he gets back, it's snake season is over. I should check with his younger brother, though. I should. Hey, Andrew, caught alive. Howdy and hello. Valerie, I'm with you. I couldn't live in Florida. Between the alligators and the heat, and I heard y'all got bigger snakes there, too. I just could not. Oh, well, Ren, how are you repelling the snakes? Are you using the chili powder? Because you're protecting. I didn't know that they went for bird feeders. Scooter Mom, find out if there's something besides death and maiming that repels snakes. I know. I sound so horrible right now, and I know it. But the whole mice thing just gets me. Like, I want to be in a better place about this. I would like to be in a more place of acceptance and in harmony with my environment, which does include the mice. So I'm working on it. I just don't want them in the house. Okay, we got to stop talking about that. I'm grossing myself out. Andrew, that's hilarious. My wife has come home with the bathroom door closed with orders to find the spider that scared me earlier. I love that. Oh, now you're talking rain virus. Maybe get a pet mongoose. That sounds gross too, though. Nah, I don't even want to take care of a plant, you guys. I'm like barely managing keeping me alive together. Mothballs, do those work for? Oh, you know what? Okay, so I did read that peppermint could work as a repellent. I put that everywhere. My house smells like peppermint, and I don't know that worked. Yeah, Jess, see, we just need a boundary. They just need to stay over there. I agree. You know what, Laura, you're probably right. They were probably on the walkway because it's warm. Yeah. Well, now that you guys are humanizing them a bit, maybe there could be a better way. Dr. Snorkel, can you weld 2 pieces of metal together? I cannot. I have not done that. Could I duct tape them? Would that work? I feel like I could duct tape them. But would that be to kind of like repel any of these rodents? Over Newbin, you have all the wildlife in Florida. I love wildlife. I love the squirrels outside. I love seeing the rabbits, but they stay in their lane, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to go hunt down a mouse in the wild. That's where mice are. I just have a problem if you're coming into my house. Then it is at your own risk. Cats hate cults. When's the next game night? Do you know that I've never done a game night? And by the way, we're coming up to my 1-year anniversary of being on YouTube. I did my interview with Aaron Smith Levin on December 7th. I just looked it up today. And I started my channel on December 8th. And here we are a year later, and I'm just about to hit 5 million views cumulatively. I hope to do that by December 8th. I don't know where I'm at now. Actually, I could probably look. Love Maddie, I have those grabber things and move them to the side. They're not venomous at all. Yeah, they're garter snakes. They are. They're harmless and beneficial. Okay, but over 100 I feel like is excessive. But you know what? I could do that. I've got 2 of those. I get out there with my daughter. We can just shove them. They can't climb fast, right? Like you know what? That's not a bad idea. We use that thing also to grab the mouse traps. That's actually not a bad idea. I wonder if I could get my grandson to do it. That's what I really should do. Get my grandkids, put them to work, give them those grabber things and tell them to go out in the yard and march and get rid of the snakes. Just push them over. Rodents don't like marigolds. I did not know that. Oh, that's smart. Bottle 50/50 white vinegar and water to spray and repel spiders. Oh, I could almost even like let a spider go. If I see a spider, I'm not always trying to kill a spider because I'm like, they eat bugs. Unless they're really gross, then I'm like, no. Only because we want the snakes to take care of the mice problem. Exactly. So I'm just really, I want to put out to the universe that the outside, if the mice stay outside, if the snakes stay outside, because if I find a snake in my house, I might have to move. I mean, what am I going to do? Maybe my daughter can grab it. I wonder if she's scared of snakes. I should find out. Thank you, Marcy. I do need a game night with Reese. I know. I got to talk to Aaron about it because now that the SPTV Foundation has its tax exempt status, we have to do this other filing. And then once we get set on YouTube where we can do something like a game night and make it a fundraiser for the foundation, when you do it that way, then YouTube doesn't take a cut of that. So we're figuring that out. But I still feel like even outside of that, we should do a game night because I never got to do a game night. I love games. Yeah, almost a year, December 8th. I feel like I have a lot to look forward to celebrate, which is a good thing. I've got my anniversary coming up here on YouTube. January 1st is my 15th anniversary of leaving Scientology. I'm excited about that. How did I start it, Jamie? I went on Aaron Smith Levin at Growing Up in Scientology, reached out and asked me to come on his channel as a guest. And when I did that, he said, you've done podcasts and radio, you should do a YouTube channel. And at first I was like, I don't think so. I have a lot on my plate. Because remember, Tony it was December of last year and he passed away this past June. And it ended up being one of the smartest things I ever did. One, it helped so much with my healing. Secondly, it provided a community where you guys have just lifted me up since Tony has died. And that's just been amazing. And I get to expose Scientology and share the stories of other people who survived Scientology. And it's honestly my favorite thing to do. And I'm so happy and feel so fortunate to be able to be here and do that and be here with all of you. Good juju, there's this thing called YouTube and you can search a remedy, DTM girl. What is DTM? I might be able to figure it out, but be faster if you tell me. DTM. You got to tell me what that is. 100 snakes equals 1,000 mice. Oh, do they eat that many? All right. Then I really need to not kill the snakes. I'm thinking $1 a snake for the grandkids. I got a feeling my granddaughter would be down with it. She's 3, but she's fierce. I'm even a little afraid of her. She's just really independent. She's super awesome. Valerie says, I feel bad for Mike. He looks so bad. Yeah, it's one of the worst things to go through. And what, when I look back at, when Tony was really sick, I more recently have been feeling like as horrible as it was, there was no changing that outcome. And we decided to, that whatever happened, that it would be the best possible outcome for both of us, mainly him. And he didn't want to he was already really sick, but he was really sick for several weeks. He had been sick for 2.5 years. He never got better. He did surgery. It's like he did hormone therapy. He did chemo. He did, I'm going blank. What is the other one? Not hormone therapy, chemo. Oh my God, it's a newer thing. I forgot, but none of it really worked. It might have slowed it down a little bit and bought him more time, But by the time we found out that it had spread to so many places this past April, it was 10 weeks from when we found out to when he passed. And it was on his terms. He had said, like, I don't want to get super skinny. And because he had gained so much weight on hormone therapy, that when he was getting really sick again and losing a lot of weight, by the time that he did pass away, he actually looked great as far as, his weight and size. And so he felt good that way, even though on the inside he didn't feel good. That was important to him. Tony was a very handsome man. And I think it was important to him to maintain that dignity and look like him. And he was able to do that. Ooh, spray bottle with peppermint. I need to catch up. That's a good idea. Marcy, why are you a party pooper when it comes to games? I love Cards Against Humanity. I love that. I've played it a few times. We play it when I've gone to Clearwater. We played it at Aaron's house. It's so fun. Laura, I think right now my favorite game probably is Cards Against Humanity, but we can't play that. We'll all be canceled. But it's so fun. I do like it. Oh, heck, that's right. Literally no one. December 8th, the anniversary of John Lennon's assassination. Oh, and that's when I started my YouTube channel. That's a little bizarre with your Mark Chapman story. I never even put that together. You're right. Wow. I think most of you know if you're subscribed to my channel. And if you're not, or even if you are, check your subscribe button. If you could all just go check right now and maybe hit that like button too. When I was a child in Hawaii, across from Scientology, we'd hang out there at night. And I mean, you guys have heard the story. Hey, Joe Virus just woke up. The party can start. Anyways, my sister and I were hanging out with who turned out to be Mark David Chapman, who killed John Lennon, and it was a whole thing. And that's why I had to start my Scientology indoctrination, because the FBI got involved and Scientology got mad. Wow, that's crazy. Ren, thank you so much. We're honored to know you and my Tony. It is mutual. It is mutual. Brain virus. Yeah, I was fearless as a child, and this is how I ended up getting those rabies shots in my tummy. Oh no. I heard those are really painful. Immunotherapy. Thank you, Mama Opal. Yes, that is the other treatment that Tony did. Immunotherapy. God, I just could not remember it to save my life. I could not. Yep, Bella knows it was immunotherapy. He was going to do radiation, but never started. In fact, days before he died, he was being measured for this thing that had to go over his head because it had spread to the membrane of his brain. So the radiation, with the hope was it would slow it down. He was starting to have these episodes where he thought he was someplace else. And I found him in the garage. He would get up and say he had to go meet his dad, who died years ago. And then he would realize pretty quickly that he wasn't where he thought he was, and it had moved into his brain. Sterling thought kryptonite was a real planet. That's funny. During game night. That is funny. Oh, Valerie, your husband went to the doctor on Monday. Wednesday, he had surgery and passed away 2 weeks shy. He had brain cancer. Yeah, it's no joke. And for Tony, it had spread. He actually had 2 primary cancers, and both of them were a rare form of cancer. He had a rare form of prostate cancer, and he had a rare form of kidney cancer. 2 primary cancers. So when he had surgery, his prostate came out. They took his kidney, and then he did hormone therapy because they considered the kidney cancer to be gone because they removed his kidney, and they checked him every 12 weeks with a PSA test for prostate cancer. But there's no test for the kidney cancer. And by the time we found out about it, it spread everywhere. And it was actually the kidney cancer that led to him dying. The prostate cancer was coming back, but the primary, the one that had spread the most, was the kidney cancer. How old was he? He was 54. Yeah, so relatively young. We're both 54. Rain, my child's cancer metastasis to her brain. Today she's getting an EEG. I did not know you had a child with cancer. I'm so sorry. Today she's getting an EEG. Wow. How old is she, Rain? If you don't mind sharing, this is the internet, but if you don't have to answer that, if you don't want to, you don't have to. Hug. Thank you, Marcy. We found out my dad had stomach cancer the day my mom passed away, and he passed away 6 months to the day later. Wow. My dad, the day we found out that Tony's cancer had spread everywhere, my dad had a massive heart attack and died. You guys might remember that. So I went back home to Hawaii in May for his funeral and services, and it was a whole thing because I didn't want to leave Tony because we had just found out his cancer had spread. It does. It just sucks, Ren. You're right. It just sucks. Wow. Rain says she's been declared cancer-free a year ago. This is to check to see if anything has changed. She's 32. Wow. Well, then that's awesome. That's fantastic. Wow. Paraditology. Your wife died at 54 also. Wow. It is amazing how many of us have lost our people. I think part of it is the demographic of my channel. I think a lot of you are my age or even older, and it just tends to, that's what happens. We get to that place in life. It hit me the other day during the whole mouse insanity. It's part of why I was so extra about it. Is I was like, Tony's gone. And then it just hit me that every adult who had ever taken care of me or should have taken care of me was gone. I had lost my dad early in the year. My parents were passed. My grandparents were passed. And now Tony's gone. And yeah, that messed me up. And then you add in the whole mouse thing. But then, I got through it and I realized that, okay, that is true. So I guess that means I am the adult in charge, which is kind of a scary thought. Even though I've been the adult in charge of my life for a long time, it's just nice knowing you have those people there. But I have my sister, I have my children, I still have my family. Oh, Marcy, I'm so sorry. You lost your niece in 2015. She was 8. That is tragic. And that's what Tony used to always say. He would say, don't feel bad for me. I have lived so much life. I have done so much. And he did. He traveled the world. He lived in Greece for a while. He took a train across Europe. He did so much. And he would say, there are children with cancer. There are children losing their lives. That's who you got to feel sorry for. He didn't want people to feel sorry for him. My uncle just shot a rattlesnake, tied it to the back of the ATV as a trophy. It was still alive and bit him. He crashed the ATV, ended up in the hospital with a broken wrist and snake bite. Oh my gosh. Moral of the story there, maybe leave nature alone. Boxer Heather, my boyfriend has prostate cancer and has a PET scan tomorrow to make sure it hasn't spread. It's good you're doing the PET scan. And all of you out there, whether if you are a man or you are a woman who has a man in her life, brother, cousin, whatever it is, you got to get the PSA test. It's a blood test. It will screen for prostate cancer. You should be doing it. When Tony he didn't go into the doctor because he was having symptoms of anything going on with his prostate. He was having stomach issues. It was something unrelated, but he was due for a physical and he had turned 50. And so they did this PSA test and it was sky high. And that's how we found out he had cancer. And right before his surgery, he started becoming symptomatic. So he didn't even have symptoms and already had stage 3 prostate cancer without any symptoms. And a PSA test, a simple blood test that men should be doing annually. If you have prostate cancer history, you should be doing it earlier than 50. Talk to your doctor. But you should be doing it every single year because when you catch it early, if you can catch prostate cancer before it leaves the prostate, it's pretty much 100% curable. It's once it gets out that is the problem. And then in Tony's case, he had a very rare and aggressive form of it. So it wasn't the run of the mill, if you will. Did I just see Tori? Hey, Tori. Hey, Nat and chat. I was telling everybody, Tori, how I sat down and did a great, really enjoyed a video with you. Vanessa, yes, peppermint essential oil. I have it everywhere right now because I had heard that too. Lauren, my dad was just diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer 2 weeks ago. They removed part of his colon and his appendix. They'll be getting a part of his neck next week for chemo. Wow. Well, wishing you the best on that, for sure. It's a tough, there's never a good time for it. I just can't believe that we haven't figured it out. You know what I'm saying? We can send people into space, and how have we not figured out this whole cancer thing with all the different things that we can do? Hey, Trisha from Minnesota. Hey there. Good to see you. Yeah, Tori and I talked about all kinds of things, including how Tori hitchhiked from Chicago to Los Angeles when she was in Scientology. So crazy. A cute pumpkin clodhopper. What's up? And aloha to you as well. Joe, your son's dad checks himself every 2 years as his dad passed away from prostate cancer, and my grandpa and uncle. I'm surprised it's 2 years. Oh, my son's dad gets checked himself every 2 years. I can't believe they're doing 2 years and not every year. Oh, for sure. Yeah, the essential oils are in cabinets. In 1969, Tori hitchhiked from Chicago to Los Angeles. That is like crazy. It was back in the day. Yeah. Tori is a tough cookie. That is for sure. For sure, Marcy. Linda Lou, cancer has too many variants. That's true, but I don't know. I just seem like we should be able to figure this out by now. I have a hard time accepting that it's not figured out. It just seems like with the amount of money and research, and I mean, my gosh, we can practically clone a person. Wasn't like a pig or a lamb cloned? Didn't that happen? How can we not have this figured out or be further along in it? And we are to a degree. I mean, you think about the strides that have been made with early detection. That I think is huge. Or even treatment of things like breast cancer and even prostate cancer if you catch it soon enough. So we've made strides. Hitchhiking used to be normal. That's true. It was back in the day. It's just funny to hear about. Makes me wonder, what are we doing today that 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years from now, we're going to look back and go, oh, I can't believe we did that. Kind of like now, how we look back on, we didn't have car seats, we didn't wear seat belts, and our parents smoked in the car with the windows up. Now, I'm not saying any of this is a good idea. I'm just saying we look back on that now and go, wow, we know better, we do better. But what are we doing today? What do we believe today? What words are we using today that we're going to look back and go, I can't believe we ever did that or thought that? What's not going to age well? Keo Dragon, hey, in Florida, we have lizards. When we open the front door, it's like Jurassic Park. We love it. Oh my gosh. Now, I love geckos. Being from Hawaii, I love a gecko. I could do geckos all day. I wouldn't even probably get a gecko out of my house. I mean, they're usually outside anyways. If there were a bunch, I would. And we don't have geckos in Minnesota. But when I go home to Hawaii, I love them. Dolly the sheep, wasn't it? You know what? I think so. That sounds familiar, Joe. That sounds familiar. Up in the north, my dad had prostate cancer. They caught it easier to operate on a golf ball than a softball. I do get PSA tests. Good for you up in the north. I'm glad that you do that. Very glad that you do that. This kind of discussion always reminds me of the movie Medicine Man with Sean Connery. I didn't see it. I don't know what it's about. NAMO1, cancers do have variants, but they are broken multiplication of cells. That's what needs to be stopped. Yeah, I don't know a ton about the science behind it. You know, I did grow up in a cult. but it just seems like there are different variants, but the way that it grows and some of the things that triggers the growth of cancer, it seems like we know that. And I think we need to work harder, myself included, on not consuming things that would contribute to that. I remember finding out I had a lumpectomy. I had oh gosh, this was several years ago. And there were some suspicious cells, and my doctor decided the best thing was to take them out. Even though those cells weren't technically cancer cells, they were what they called back then like precancerous cells. But because of research, they learned that so exactly what I had going on, my doctor said, if you'd have come in 8, 9 years ago, we would have called this cancer and both boobs would have been gone. And but they learned through research that every woman with breast cancer has these cells, but not every woman with these cells develops breast cancer. So they just did a lumpectomy. I now have an indentation. I mean, you don't really see it. I see it, drives me nuts, but small price to pay. And God, I had forgotten about that. Yeah, that was a scary time, but it was, early detection, get it taken care of. I remember when I had the surgery, Tony took care of me. This was years before we found out he had cancer. Oh yeah, nothing on me is fake. Oh my God, remember no car seats? Yeah. I remember a hill in my neighborhood when I was little. I'd flip head down, feet in the air on the seat to make my belly flip flop. My mom thought nothing of it, right? I know. My daughter had we had the grandkids and one of their cousins over, and she's like, well, I don't have the car seats. And I'm like, the older one, I'm like, is old enough. And she's like, no, it's the rules have changed on how long you have to be in a car seat or a booster. I had no idea because it's been, my kids are in their 30s. My son is in his 20s. Very different now. We learn better, we do better. They caught my dad's cancer. That's so awesome. That's the key, early detection. And that's what irritates me and bothers me about Scientology and members of the Sea Organization and even some Scientologists who don't do regular screenings. They don't do it so it doesn't get caught always. And then they try treatments that aren't necessarily, going to work because they don't want to do chemo and other things like that. Not everybody, but a lot. A lot. Sean Connery's character finds the cure to cancer in the Amazon rainforest and then loses it. It's one of my favorites. Oh, I never knew about that movie. Yeah. Yeah, Jamie, not always. They don't get proper medical treatment when they need it. Because the solution is Scientology, more Scientology. It really depends on the individual, but you're less likely to see that. In the Sea Organization, these people aren't getting regular physicals. They're not getting screening. They're not getting prostate cancer screening. They're not getting breast cancer screenings, things that we know we need to do. But they don't. They don't. And so many of them now are so much older, and we're seeing it in a lot of the live streams of people protesting Scientology. We're seeing that. We're seeing how much, oh, you know what? Hold on. I just realized I did not do something. We're seeing them get older, and we're seeing them being and getting sick. It's so sad. I always think about Mike Brown and his mom, Rosemary and her story. Oh, I always think about that. And I'm so glad that she's with him now. What would have happened to her if he wasn't able to go rescue her? And many of these people, some of them even have family, but they're so convinced that they need to stay away from those families, or those families were maybe antagonistic towards Scientology, that they end up not going and getting the actual treatment that they need. Or they don't have anybody there also telling them that, you know what I'm saying? That, hey, you should go do this. There's no connection. That's not what the focus is on. The focus is always on Scientology. And that is their focus. Do they get their teeth cleaned, dentists? Some do. Some do. I would say less, because it's also an expense. Not everybody has dental insurance. and they're not going to spend money on that. Some of them can't afford it because of Scientology. Yeah, it's really rough. It's really sad when you think about it. They should though. Valerie, I've never heard of Kilmer being in Scientology. Have you heard something? What do you know, girl? Spill the tea. Spill the tea. Tori says no, that he's not. Wow, Laura, that's a lot. That's so great that you take care of your sister. And then your mom passed from cancer, then they found breast cancer in my sister. She got a lumpectomy. Yeah. And that they even know how to do that now. So they have learned a lot. They have. Oh, it's supposed to get snow tonight for you, Mama Opal? Really? I think it's snowing here right now, but just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Turmeric, cardamom, and 5-spice powder in any milk. I don't know what that is, but now I want it. Now I want it. Did I just get a notification? Oh, okay, let's wrap it up because Reese is live and I want to go watch. Tomorrow I will be live 9 a.m. Central Time. And yeah, make sure you guys hit that subscribe on the way out. Let's all go over and aloha raid Relatable Reese. I want to go watch. So go throw some alohas to Reese and let's raid her. I'm going to go over there too. Thank you guys for being here so much. This was a lot of fun. I will see you tomorrow. Everybody, I hope you have a fabulous cult-free